Good afternoon, and I hope this grand finale doesn't turn out to be the only first and last time that I'll be greeting you all. And for that, you have to make a promise, and promises are meant to be kept, that this shall be a long-term, mutually satisfying relationship going well into the years ahead. But right now, as an introduction, all I can say is that I'm super thrilled to be here. And I can see there are participants are already lined up because you do have a grand finale. And a grand finale means just that. It is a grand finale to this festival. So with that, let me get pitched straight on to what we have lined up for you today, which is quite a bit. And as usual, my slides will do justice to telling you exactly what we are about to do. The How to Festival 3.0, which is that platform for discovering products through the online classroom, is proud to present and proud to welcome you to the grand finale, the last of the series, which is powered by Locator. More about that in a minute, and presented by LIC, our long-standing partners in this mission to make student architects more informed, better informed, and up with the latest in products and services. Yeah, very evocatively, the sign clock does say how time flies, and it's just gone in a snap. And if you think you agree with me, say so, agree with me on chat, and tell me, did you find it also like going like a breeze? 8 weeks, 8 different episodes. I call it each one is an event, because the amount of work that goes into bringing you that kernel of knowledge is phenomenal. So time flies, and that's why we are here with the No More Masquerade, the grand finale of the How to Festival 3.0. It has been quite a show till now. It has been a show in terms of seeking partners who can bring you knowledge which you otherwise have not been shared with in your classrooms, which, by the way, is the raison d'etre, the reason why How to Festival was conceived in the first place. We put together the heads of the top 20 colleges and the HODs, and we asked them what is missing in the curriculum, what is missing in the classroom. And typically the playback was updated product knowledge. The material museums in all the colleges is in various stages of updation or not. And if we could fulfill that one part, being product information specialists, then that would be very welcome, is what we were told. And I think you would have seen through this journey, and that promise has been well kept by us. So do chat with us now. Now is a good time. Yes, I see a few of you on screen on the chat box, but I want you to tell me now, how was the festival for you? And make your fingers work a little bit. Don't give me 2 words. 2 words, awesome, fantastic. I mean, you can also say that, but say a little bit more. Something we can take to the brands and say, your time, ladies and gentlemen, was well justified, and future students will equally benefit. So give me ammunition, which we can take to all these brands. In the meantime, let me, for all those newbies, as I'll call those who are new to the festival, take you through a peek into the Locator's 27 years. 27 years, that's older than the most of you, I think. Definitely all the students. And that's how long this brand has lasted. And it's very difficult to sustain things unless you have the cooperation, the support, and of course, the blessings and the wishes of all the community members that we serve. So 27 years of our effort is also visible on www.locatorindia.com, which is where you get all of this, which is information on products, and individual SKUs. That means all the individual different ranges and whatnot, information including technical specs, contact details, and a lot more. Why do I talk about it? Just as a reminder, the action has to be yours in going and discovering for yourself. One of the things we were very proud to do, and we are going to be doing again this year, is the Expert's Choice, which was debuted in 2019, and it was ranked by leading architects and designers. That's the best part, because it's unique trust mark in India, India's only unique trust mark, powered by Locator. But very importantly, you, my final year students, as you start practicing, we would give you too an opportunity to vote. Now you become expert users. Above all, we had the 27 years, we had the Expert Choice, we had so many other things along the way, but the most impressive yet has been the How To Festival, and currently the How To Festival 3.0, which attempts to bring students together from the top-rated colleges of architecture. When we talk about the top-rated colleges of architecture, you belong to them, and so you know really the community that we are talking about. And if you want to take a look, since you might be only invested in your college, but you should know, take a peek at the others. There you have a smorgasbord of Amity University, about 9 of them, all the way from Dubai to every other city in India. All of you from Amity, you know your campuses. For the rest of you, yes, these are the grand buildings which houses our choice students from Amity University. And then, of course, we have Bharati Vidyapeeth in Pune, BIT, BMS College of Architecture, CCA from Chandigarh. These are all heavy participants with Locator and the How To Festival. IES College of Architecture, ITM Raipur, Jadavpur, Kolkata, Jamia Millia Islamia in Delhi. And then we move on to MNIT and NIT, Rachna Sansad from Mumbai, Rizvi College. Quite a lineup, wouldn't you agree? And I hope it's producing a lot of nostalgia. If you've not already started going to college, you must be dying to get back to campus. Continuing the parade, it's RV College of Architecture, Bengaluru, SCET Surat, JNA FAU Hyderabad, Sihangat College, Pune, and then, of course, the great Sir JJ College of Architecture from Mumbai, Shushant School, Thakur School of Planning, Vaishnavi School of Planning Architecture, and finally, the Watson University, Hyderabad. So that is that impressive set of colleges. And who do we have here? As usual, a little interruption. Are you ready? Of course we are ready. My student friends are always ready. And you know what's coming up next? A reminder of what you stand to win if you do certain things. And what do you stand to win? There will be a live quiz with 4 prizes for the fastest and all correct entries. Now, students, do give your quiz a hard look today, because it's going to confuse some of you. So, and if you listen to our star speaker today in this grand finale show, then that shouldn't be a problem. Don't tell me I didn't warn you. Okay. So that's what happens with the quizzes. You also you will be asking, I'm sure, huge number of questions today, because the subject matter is such. You're going to have questions galore. And as always, we will answer those questions, the choice ones, the curated ones on the show, and the remaining will be put up on our web pages. But the best 4, which we think merits winning 1,000 rupee GV each, will also be awarded. Yep, stand out, get noticed, distinguish yourself. And I think that job is already on. I think there's almost about 60, 70 blurbs in the chat happening. And I expect with 10 minutes down into the show, this is going to be a blockbuster, chatty affair. Don't forget, I do want to hear from you all. What is it that this festival has given you? How have you benefited? And everything else, you want to make suggestions, you want to critique it, most welcome. we are broad-minded, and we are democratic. So talking about engagement, there are 4 prizes for that too, for the best engagers of the day. In addition, everyone who participates gets a certificate of participation. Quite a few have asked us, don't worry, we have your email IDs because we know that when you register. So those who have participated will get their just rewards. We will be sending you this. And last time I said, if you specifically feel that you need to make your presence felt, put it on chat and say, I want the certificate. You already done it last week. Don't have to repeat that for sure. We've got that on record. The archive is a place, don't ever forget. There are 2 words, brands you shouldn't forget. Locator, of course, in your lifetime, and archive by Locator, which is where you can constantly keep getting updations on product knowledge as they happen. All right, what do we have here? Do we have a jam session being a grand finale? Are we like going to groove to some music? Well, you play, let the music play in your head. What we want from you, like a good DJ, would mix it all up and make his audience dance to a pulsating beat. We need your well-worded reviews to motivate more brands to present. Because later on the show, we're going to have a special guest, and you'll be delighted when I introduce her. Yes, it's a she. She needs no introduction to you, but then all the same. And that's what is going to be important. We want to go to more brands so that we can extend this festival for a longer period and give you more value instead of crunching it all during perhaps, let's say, your semester end. So you need to post these on the FB group. I hope all of you, when you registered, you remember your FB group. This year, we've done most of it via emails, but the FB group is live. We've been putting every episode there, and all the action continues there. So go to the FB group and please give us well-worded reviews to motivate more brands next year to come and present to you all. And yes, I told you it's a grand finale, so everything happens for just that one last time. And you know which band this is, and you know who they play for. Let's take a look first at who do they play for. They play for the quiz winners, they play for the Q&A winners, and they play for the engagers. So you have, congratulations, quiz winners for episode 7, our last one, Saman Chowdhury. Congratulations. Rai Chakrabarti, congratulations. Kirti Vanshika, congratulations. Sudeshana, congratulations. Is this something to coincide with Women's Day that happened around that time? Well, that's a good lineup of young, bright stars who won. Congratulations, and I'm sure there's no bias of that kind, because what did I say? There is no bias. We have the Q&A winners were Vaishnav, Ritesh, Rajshri, and Siddhi. Hello, Siddhi, once again. And we have, of course, one more set of winners, which is the engagers of the day for episode 7. And again, we got a mixed bag with Kirti, Anamika, Sherbano, and Mihir Pawar. So all of you guys, get ready to receive those vouchers, which will be coming to you, as you know, as we do every year last year. They come to you in a block, us together, and enjoy yourselves. Have a damn good shopping spree, because you deserved it. Having said that, yes, did I turn the sound on? Somebody tell me if it is on. This is something which is happening and shouldn't happen, but I think we will try it again. For one more time. Congratulations, everyone. The drum rolls are over. Here's a quick and important reminder. Are the innovators up and running? And where are you expected to run? You're expected to run with your pens and paper and pencil because the I Wish challenge opened up. We started receiving entries, and I want to see more, and I want to see it from my star students who are on the show, because it's an exclusive competition. Any thought you have about any of the products in the 24 categories, which is in the Google form, the entry form, which you have been shared a link, and you again will be shared a link on the show in the chat box today. The important thing is top 10 innovators get recognition. And that's like really all needles in the haystack. You get discovered. In addition, you also get to make 2,500 rupees as a prize money for each of the top 10 innovators. So that's not a small sum, and recognition is not small at all. So go for it. And as you know, the Google form has been shared and is going to be shared here in the group. Asha and team, if you could do that, that'd be very good. Do you want more time? If that is something lurking in your head, and if you're putting that on chat, or if that's your secret desire, I will let you know if it is possible by the end of this event. And why did I bring this up? Because we got a playback that many of you were busy with your thesis, with your end of semester projects and exams and whatnot, and you could do with a little bit more time. I think we can comply. So with all of that, let's now get into a deep dive, the reason why we have a How to Festival at all, which is to learn, but learn at the hands of experts, learn unique things which you do not know, and learn things you will never forget. You remember my old adage, give a man fish and he'll eat for the day. Teach a man to fish and he will eat for a lifetime. So with those things, I have great pleasure in welcoming Mr. Ajaj Kazi, and he is the project director at Voltas, and he is a fabulously talented and very deep knowledge person. He's the project director working with Voltas for the last 23 years. So that tells you the kind of continuity and the kind of the quantum of projects, the depth of his experience. He's basically a mechanical engineer from BJTI Mumbai when he graduated. He's also a PGD in materials management from IIM Bangalore. And he's done his course in project management through the PMI, that's Project Management Institute in the USA. Mr. Ajaj Kazi is a veritable storehouse on project planning, and he's going to do that. He's going to expose you to that. He's presented many articles on project management, risk management, and HVAC systems. He's also published 2 books, uniquely. The Person of Your Dream and Focus is Money, Play 100%. How evocative can that be? I'm going to now hand the floor to Ajaj Kazi.
Hey friends, my name is Ajaj Kazi. I am the project director with Voltas Limited. It's been 23 years I have been working with Voltas, and thanks How to Festival for giving me another opportunity to present in front of you. I did, I think, a couple of years back when there was a physical event possible, but due to the issues of COVID, I think we are going online. How to Festival and Voltas has a long relationship. I think started in 1998, and that's the year where I joined the Voltas. So I thank How to Festival to give me another opportunity to present in front of you. So let's begin the presentation. I am from Voltas, and I'm going to present little technical aspects about the air conditioning, where the lot of projects are being done on the air conditioning. So welcome all of you. And this is the starting point where I just wanted to say that any building has 2 elements. One is the aesthetic, where all of you come into picture, another is engineer. So architects and engineers have to come together to get a building which has a beautiful look, but the building has to also work. And we as an engineer, we put an energy into the buildings. So many buildings are standing tall, and Voltas has been fortunate to be part of many buildings which are there in front of you. The Burj Khalifa, the Ferrari theme park, the Taj Hotel in Mumbai, and the one which was inaugurated yesterday, That was Jio World Center in BKC, Mumbai. These are all iconic buildings where many architects like you were part of this to create such magical looks of the building. And we as a Voltas have put in a lot of energy to make sure that the building works. And that's the importance of having building which works. HVAC in R, as you must be aware of, H is for heating, V is for ventilating, AC is for air conditioning, which has got three components. One is maintaining air temperature, another is maintaining humidity, and the most important part, which is very, very important now, is the indoor air quality. Then we have refrigeration, and that's the R part of the HVAC in R. So you must be knowing, split ACs and window ACs and VRF. So that's why I thought that I will take care of the central air conditioning, which is the larger system, which is done in the building which I just shown you. Typically, the air conditioning systems has an element of a chiller. That's a big machine which creates or which produces the cold water. That cold water comes from this chilled water comes to this unit, which has got a fan, and the fan takes the air over this cold water, that is called a coil, and it circulates the cold air into the room where the air conditioning is supposed to be done. The same air picks up the heat and it goes back to the same unit with the addition of some fresh air from outside to dilute the CO2 level. And this air again gets treated from the same coil and it goes back. So it's a cycle. So in air conditioning, what we do, we take out the heat from the room, and once you take the heat out, that room gets cold. But that heat has to be rejected somewhere else. The heat is, energy cannot be concluded, or energy cannot be said, it cannot be taken out just like that. So this is a heat energy which comes out, and this is something called cooling tower, which I will just explain later, which gives back the heat to the atmosphere. So heat which is extracted from here, that room gets cooled and that heat goes out to the atmosphere. So this is a typical air conditioning system cycle, and which is basically done with the central air conditioning. This is how it looks. This is a chiller. The chiller has one pump which circulates the cooled water into this unit, which takes the air over that coil and gets the air cooled. The same water comes to get it cooled. Similarly, the same air comes back again to get it cooled. So it's a closed cycle. The warm part of it, that said, the heat extraction is done from another pump, which is given to this cooling tower, and this heat is extracted either through air or to the water. So this is a basic cycle of air conditioning. This is how it looks. We have a unit over here. We have offices over here, maybe multiple floors also. We have this air coming from here, which is the cold air. People are working here. The heated air, the heat gets picked up by the air, which again goes back to the same unit here, and it again cools the same air again with addition of fresh air for the dilution of CO2 level. In central air conditioning, chillers is important, and there are various types of chillers. These are all technical terms: rotary chillers, scroll chillers, reciprocating chillers, screw chillers, centrifugal chillers. This is all called VAM, vapor absorption machines. Based on the capacities of these chillers, the types of the chillers are selected. So you can see a centrifugal chiller goes beyond 400 tons of refrigeration. Here is tons of refrigeration. This air-cooled chillers like this, where, as I said, the heat extraction is done in this case to the air, and this is a water-cooled chillers. In this case, the heat extraction is done to the water, and that's why the cooling tower, what I said, comes into picture. So there's only two differentiation factor between an air-cooled chillers and a water-cooled chillers. So the air-cooled chillers on the left-hand side and water-cooled chillers on the right-hand side. This is the cycle. So in case of air-cooled chillers, we don't need a cooling tower because the heat extraction is done to the air. In water-cooled systems, the heat is extracted to this cooling tower, which is a water. So it has a water, the heat is given to the water, and from the water, the heat is given back to the air again. So this is the simple, you can say, understanding of how the air-cooled system and water-cooled system works. Both has very, very important element in construction of a building, because the space requirement comes into picture, and that is where all of you comes into picture, because space is extremely critical when architects come. So this is some of the photographs of water-cooled chillers. Now, water-cooled chillers are installed inside the buildings. and air-cooled chillers are installed on open platforms or on the terraces or on the ground floor where we require a lot of air so that the heat gets rejected to that air. In water-cooled, the pipes like this will take that hot water to that cooling tower where the heat gets rejected, and the same water comes back again here to this chiller. This is non-insulated pipes, you can see, and this is a cold water which again goes to that air handling units where the air gets cooled because of that coil. Since this is a cold water inside these pipes, there can be a condensation, and to avoid that condensation, you can see the differentiation between these two pipes. This is insulated pipes because the condensation should not come down. So this is a little bit about center plant. This is how they look in reality, and they need a lot of space, and that space has to be provided properly. This is air-cooled chillers where you can see these chillers are kept on top of the terraces, and the air is the medium which is required to get the air is the medium which is required to get the heat rejected. This is another picture where the chillers are installed in the open air and the heat gets rejected in the air. As I told you about the cooling tower, this is another element which is required in water-cooled system. These are the cooling towers. Again, they need a space which needs to be installed on terraces or an open area so that the heat rejection from water to air happens very smoothly. This is the air handling units I talked to you. This is the coil in which the cold water comes in, and this is a blower which circulates that cold water into the rooms. Then we need pumps to circulate the water, and this is how the pumps are installed. Finally, we need some medium to get the cold air from one place to another place, and that is called ducting. This is how the ducting is looked, and from this, the air comes into the air conditioning area where we are supposed to be air conditioning. This is another small unit, a baby unit of the air handling units, which is generally installed in the hospitals and the hotels. These are small units where a room of 150 square feet in a hotel, we need smaller units like this. This is called fan coil units. This is how they're installed. You must have seen a hotel room like this. A hotel room like this. This is where this fan coil units are installed. They are smaller in capacities. This is another way of fan coil unit getting installed here. We get a cold air from here, and these are all small capacities. We need electrical systems because most of these machines are electrical driven. The pumps need electricity, the chiller needs electricity, the blower needs electricity, and that's why the electrical systems are important. Ducting, as I said, is another element which is required. These are the pipings from the pumps to the units. We have to connect. So water has to be distributed from the one place to the air handling units, and that's why the pipings are required. And these are generally done with MS pipes, which are available in the market. And this is what you are interested in. Basically, these are the things which you actually see in any of the conditioned spaces. You only see this through which the cold air comes. Whatever goes on top of it, I think that is not been seen. So these are multiple types of air terminals, which we call grills and diffusers and nozzles. You can see these are different types from where the cold air comes in. And this is where the aesthetic part comes in, and this is where I think your role comes in. How do we select this? Because we cannot just select the air terminal and see that the air doesn't come from it. So we have to select it properly. And these are some of the photographs where you can see this is the one type of air terminal. This is another type of air terminal. This is a nozzle. You must have seen in Bombay airport and other places where for a long throw, we need a nozzle so that the air goes to a larger distance. These are the nozzles. And this is another element which is coming now. This is called ERU, the energy recovery units. What happens is when we get the cold air inside the room here, this is a cool air which is coming from this unit. This cool air is also getting out from various modes. And one of the mode is the toilet. The toilet has an exhaust system. So what it does, it takes out the cold air from the conditioned space and it gets exhausted outside. What happens when we take this exhaust air outside, there is this unit called energy recovery unit. It has got one heat exchanger. So this cold air goes to the heat exchanger and it is given back to the atmosphere. While doing that, what happens? These heat exchangers get cooled. So when we take in fresh air from outside, this goes through the same heat exchanger and it becomes cooler. So what do? We pre-cool the system. We pre-cool the air before it comes to the space, and that saves a lot of energy, because if you take direct outside air in 40 degree or 30 degree, it needs a lot of effort to make it to 24 degree. But if you pre-cool this with this concept, the energy requirement is less. And this is one concept which is coming in now. The another important part which is happening now is the smart technologies are getting in, and this is called a BMS system, or building automation system, building management systems. Entire air conditioning can be grouped, to one gateway from where we can take it to the one server, and then entire monitoring of the systems, be it its temperature, be it is running on and off, or if we have an office timing from one time to another time, if we have to have holidays, we can all integrate everything so that the system works independently without any manual intervention. So this is a smart thing which is coming in, and there are a lot of things which are happening in this front, and we can give the alerts to the users that something is going wrong in that unit, so we can proactively take an action to resolve those issues. So this is one area which I thought is another important part. Again, it needs a space. It needs a little bit of thought process of creating a logic. How do we run the building? How do we run the building with optimal efficiency? In today's world, where we are going through now is the issue of COVID, and we have viruses, and this is going to be the way of life. Many people are saying indoor air quality is important, and HVAC plays an important role in terms of ventilating, in terms of filtration, in terms of the temperature and RH control, and in terms of getting the system inspection done regularly. So this is one area I thought where Voltas has taken a lot of initiative to make many hospitals, COVID hospitals or COVID facilities, with the help of many systems, that they are there is no spread of virus from one place to another place. So this is that air handling units which I shown you before. What we have done and what is it being done is we add a lot of filtration here, the multiple levels of filtration. This is called fine filter, this is called HEPA filter, which has got a efficiency of 0.9 micron or 0.1 micron, depending upon the requirement size. So this is one area, and this is how the filter looks. This will also take care of spreading any filter which goes through this filter. These filters are not washable filters, they have to be replaced. Another important the technology which is coming very largely is the UVGI. The UVGI is another thing which is operated through the lights, and the content of virus can be done. You can see the virus microns, the particulate microns, that can be killed with this help of technology. So this is a UV lamp which generates wavelength of 253.7 nm, and what it does is it breaks the DNA of the microorganism, the viruses, the bacteria. So it actually damages the DNA, and that's how we get a quality air which has lesser viruses. And when that comes in, the inside conditions, the indoor air quality is better. So you can see the incoming over here, and then after that it gets broken over here. So there are many types of it. There are types which has got healthcare and all healthcare related things. There are areas where we need like theaters, like operas, all these places where many people come in and the chances of spread of air is more. This is very, very important element. Malls are now adopting it. This is how they look at it. This is a kind of light, and the air goes over this. So whatever bacteria in that air are exposed to this light, and these lights break that DNA, and that's how the air becomes purified. We also have some areas where the trolleys, and these trolleys can be a manual control as well as robotic control, where the trolleys can go and take those lights and get the area sanitized or disinfected. This is the trolley which goes across this bed and comes back by keeping that entire area disinfected. And this is how the manual control is done, where the trolley is being taken by man. This is how the surface mounted. You want to have anything on the wall, again, you can have this, and you can have entire effect of this here. It can be fixed vertically on a wall, and this can be a disinfection zone can be created. A lot of selection is required. These are done. These are the lights which are put inside the air handling units. When the air handling units, we have the air coming from the area to after picking the heat, and also we add a lot of fresh air. That entire air goes through these lights, and this gets disinfected. And this is how everybody is aware of how the small droplets will carry bacteria, will carry viruses. Those areas in office or in a mall or in an air conditioned space, if you have multiple of this, I think the air needs a treatment, and that is done through this. So this is finally it looks. We have a damper which gets the air, so you can see bacteria and other thing VOCs coming in. We have a filter which clears some of this. Again, it goes through this UVGI, which is a light, and that disinfects these bacteria, the viruses, and we get a supply air coming out of this unit. So it's a unit which takes care of any incoming air, and the output is both different from what is the incoming air is. So this is how in 3 dimensions they use it. So these are the UV bulbs. The important part is how do we select that UV, and that's why our expertise come in, because we need a time to have exposure with that light little bit more, and that's how we can have a better quality of air coming out of these units. See this, you can always see, you open your split AC and see your things will be like this. So in air conditioning, central air conditioning, it is always, these coils are always wet, and there are chances of getting bacteria and fungi on these. Moment we have this UVGI, this is taken out. So you can see the before and after UVGI installation. So thank you very much. I think I'll take a break here, and I'll see you on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajaz. That was something very deep, extremely well explained. And from the chat, I could say that Anamika, for example, is just saying it makes us understand everything better. Absolutely well said, Anamika. Oh, there you are. Mihir is saying that to Anamika, saying very well said. Because these are complex things. He spent 23 years doing this, and he's not even taken 23 minutes to compress it all. How lucky are we to get this kind of learning? So having said that, I think let's get on with the second part of our interaction, and what's been wonderful, wonderful, delightful architecture. Look at that. Just makes you want to go and buy one of those mansions, I think. I hope you guys like it. And, it doesn't always have to be modern and postmodern. It can be something like this. Why have I put it up? Just as a break slide, because after this, we are going to go on to the quiz. But I was just thinking, do we really go to the quiz right away? Or do we say, before we begin the quiz, let's welcome the co-founder of Locator, Mrs. Amita Iyengar. You have been so fondly interacting with her on your chat, and I think it just makes a lot of sense to have her in person. So come along, give her a good shout, because she's here in person joining me in my office.
Good afternoon to one and all on this show.
Sherbanu says welcome, and I'm sure everybody else.
Hi,
hello,
Sherbanu,
Sahir,
Anamika, Mihir, and many, many more there who are on this show. Thank you, Mr. Iyengar, for taking care of this show for 3 years. And when I asked them last time whether they would be interested in a change in the anchor, you can imagine what their reply was. If I was in front of them, I don't think they would have spared me. Yes, I agree with you. Yes, he is one of our best assets on the show. So I think I'm happy that there is a relief in this show for you before you start answering the quiz questions. It will be a great, great honor for me to thank our brand partners, all of them, right from the first season, our sponsor LIC, the partner architecture colleges, the principals, the coordinators, all you torchbearer students who have shown so much faith in this activity, our tech team which works tirelessly through the season and after the season, and Team Locator. When we are on the subject of How to Festival, I think it represents the best in collaboration. Collaboration which comes from a deep faith and trust. While on the subject of How to Festival, which we believe is a knowledge platform, I came across something in Sanskrit which defines teachers. I am quoting that for you. If any of you all are interested, I can always WhatsApp it to you. It's very interesting. So listen up. A teacher is one who gives you information, and this teacher is called Adhyapak. The one who imparts knowledge combined with information is called Upadhyay. The one who imparts skills is called Acharya. The one who is able to give a deep insight into a subject is called Pandit. The one who has a visionary view on a subject and teaches you to think in that manner is called Drishta. The one who is able to awaken wisdom in you, leading you from darkness to light, is called Guru. I will put this up for all of y'all to tick where you are, where Locator How to Festival is, and we would like to know whether we are a teacher or a guru to you. What is in store for you for season 4? We have a lot of thoughts, and therefore planning has begun right away. We would request the principals of your colleges to nominate one student from each of the colleges who will form a student council for How to Festival. Y'all will interact with the think tank of Locator to bring and reinvent new ways to implement How to Festival from here on. So it could look like not just for 2 months, but through your academic year. It could involve factory visits. It could involve panel discussions, so on and so forth. So having said that, I leave you all to post your thoughts, and I will get in touch with all of your principals to quickly form this student body. So you torchbearers, whose names I can straight away recall: Anamika, Sherbanu, Mihir, Vaishnav, Siddhi, all stalwarts from the first season. Help us form your student council who will help bring greater and greater learning to you. On that very happy note, no goodbye, au revoir on the other side of How to Festival season 4. And all the best to you winners for the coming up quiz. Bye-bye.
I think, ma'am, why don't you wait for a minute and let's just have a couple of our teammates who are right now able to get away from the workstation. There are so many who are manning the technicals and they cannot. Here you have Asha Rawat, a big round of applause for the wonderful work that she's done. You'll have all been asking, and Beena ma'am. So there is Beena ma'am. There is Beena ma'am, Beena Koshi. And of course, we got if you've seen all the creative work, if you've seen the branding, you've seen the post, everything is done by KK. He's also Kashiram Kadam, but KK as you know fondly. So thank you guys. And the rest of the team who can't leave the stations, a very, very grateful thanks from all of us.
Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Yeah. So I think we can now click back into the second part of the presentation. Oh, no, of course not. We're supposed to do the quiz, am I right? All right, just a second. How can we do the quiz? And I did promise you that the quiz is going to be a little less easy peasy, and don't kill me for it. But of course, Mr. Kazi has made it so easy to answer that. Let's take a look now. So as you know, the way it works is the team, please post the link for the quiz. Part A, Ravi, if you can, and I'm sure you've done it. It's open for 5 minutes. And the first question comes up here. Rotary, chiller, reciprocative, screw, and centrifugal are what? They are various types of AHUs, air handling units, various types of compressors, various types of chillers, or various types of cooling systems. You know the answer, and you would know it for sure if you listen in to Mr. Kazi. The second question, here's an image which was shown to you during this first part of the presentation. The pumps shown in the image are meant for what? They are for pumping water. Are they for pumping coolant? Are they for pumping the air? Or are they for pumping oil? What do you think these pumps are used for? So those are the two quiz questions. I think we now should not come between you and Mr. Kazi for some more learning. So I'm out of here.
So welcome back, my friends. After the break, I'm going to take you through some more aspects of buildings. And one of the important aspects is building safety, the life safety. The people who are involved, people who are occupied in that building needs to be safe in case of any disaster. And one of the major disaster is fire. And people say the people don't die because of fire, but because of the smoke. And we, as an engineer, provide proactive measures in terms of firefighting system. These are all first aid systems where we take care of the fire aspects before, during the installation stage or during the design stage. And we come together with all of you to take care of this. So there are various elements. We need a lot of fans. We need a lot of sprinklers. And these are some of the fans which takes care of the fire and smoke conditions. And this you all must be knowing. So one of the area here is a basement ventilation. In Mumbai, you must have seen many places where we have 5 basements, 3 basements. The one which I shown you earlier, the Jio World Center, which got inaugurated yesterday, has 5 basements with 15,000 cars. So there are chances that these basements can go on fire, and that's why we use this jet fan system. This is what the jet fan looks. This is how the jet fan looks. And how it is done is we get a lot of fresh air from outside through multiple channels that is being worked out with people like you. So this is a fresh air which comes in, and the jet fans will work as a pushing fans. So they will take this air and they will push to further. They will push it further, and this is the exhaust happens. So when there is no fire, still vehicle comes in and they take out the exhaust from the exhaust pipe. So that is the CO, right? Carbon monoxide which gets generated. That also needs to be taken out. So in case of no fire, this system will work when the vehicle comes, and if the multiple vehicle comes, it senses that some vehicles have come. So CO level has gone up, and that has to be taken out. So these fans will automatically come in and they will take out that exhaust. So for that we need dilution, and for that we'll need fresh air. That fresh air will come, the fans will come in, and this can be done zones wise. So it is not required that entire basements, all the fans have to be run. We can create some zones and we can take out that exhaust of that CO, because CO is harmful. When it comes to a fire situation, and there is a fire here, what happens? Suppose there is a fire here, the jet fans around that area comes on immediately because it senses there is a fire. So there is a sensor which tells you there is a fire, a smoke sensor, and that smoke needs to be evacuated. For that we need a lot of fresh air. So you can see a fresh air comes from here. It needs to be evacuated. This fans comes in and the exhaust comes into picture. This goes into double speed. So as I said, normally they run on a single speed for all these car related. When the car comes in, the CO comes out, and that's going to be exhausted. But we also have to have a smaller air circulation. For that also we need to run the fans. So when it comes to the fire, the fans go on double speed, higher speed to take out the smoke fastly, and the smokes are taken out, the area is clear, and people are safely evacuated. People don't die because of the smoke. This is how they look. This is a fire treated fans. So they work for up to 250° for 3 hours, and that's the time. By the time the fire brigade people can come in, and then they evacuate. But this is the first aid system. The another system which is used, suppose if you have multiple high-rise building, if there is a fire on one place and the people have to be evacuated outside properly through a staircases, the staircase should not have smoke. If it has smoke, the people will go into the staircase again, die. So for that, what we do, we pressurize the staircase. So in case of fire, this system is getting pressurized like this, and because of the pressure, the fire from this floor to the staircase doesn't come in because it has got a higher pressure, and the area is maintained safe and clean so that people can go properly from the staircases. So this is one area. Similarly, we pressurize the lift lobbies. The lift lobbies do not have fire. So various areas are calculated, and this is how the system is designed to take care of the life and safety. This is how some of the big fans. Metro, which is coming in Mumbai now, this also needs a lot of fire and safety because it is underground, and we have systems taking care of such fans here. These are the fans which are used for metros. These are the fans which are used for metros and tunnels. Refrigeration is another area which HVAC and R comes in. We have taken care of that. But when it comes to the architect engineers, which I started my discussion, we actually work to do a space planning to have better interiors, and we also need to have buildings which sustain for longer time. We need to have green buildings come in picture. So that's where we come in picture. Space planning, for all the equipments, we need space. And for that, we have so much of technology available, beams and other things that will tell you what is the optimum space required for maintaining the system. This is one area where this system was installed and somebody has put staircase on top of it and the system failed. And this is how I think the coordination is required between architects and us. Space planning on terrace. Space planning on terrace. These are the equipment which needs to be there. Building needs energy, and these are the equipments which will provide that energy. Shafts, multiple shafts. We need plans like what is going to be done in these shafts, what kind of pipes, what is the size of the pipes, what is the shaft. These are the shafts here. This has got exhaust air, fresh air. We need shafts for getting the fire brigade team coming in. These are the shafts for the cablings. All these are important elements of any building. These are the corridor spacing. This is a building. This is one corridor. You can see how complicated the corridor, because all these elements are required to run the building, and we need space to put it. This corridor. Architects needs higher ceiling, but we also look at what is the minimum spacing required, and this is how the corridors are created. This is how the corridors are created. You can see a corridor over here. A corridor is getting created over here. The interior design, again, a lot of elements come in. What kind of air terminal is required? This is also been discussed and designed. So you can see various types and various types of ducts, various size of ducts, various shapes of the ducts are designed. The air terminals are also be designed with you. This is how finally looks. What goes on top of it is like this. Finally, what you get looks like this. These are the three pictures over here, but this is how the lot of effort goes on top of it, and those needs to be respected. Otherwise, you will have a situation like this. This is the place where the air diffuser was installed, but the diffuser was taken out because the air was not coming from there. So there was some issues. This is the design which is not workable design. These are the designs which are not workable design. Look at the chaos over here, which can happen when there is no coordination between engineer and architects. You can see some of the shabby looking pictures over here. These are the buildings which are just commissioned, but they are not performing, and that is a point to be noted over here. BIM is coming into a big way. BIM, I feel from my side, this was the wardrobe, which was messy wardrobe on which we used to work earlier on the design, but BIM has helped us to make it that wardrobe little better. And this is the right side wardrobe, which gives you everybody clarity, what is going to be there on top, what is the space planning required. So these are some of this was the older drawing. Nobody used to identify what is going inside. And this is only with the few services. If you add more services, it will become more complicated. But today we are getting this kind of designs. Very easy. There's no disputes at site. There are no clashes at sites, which is helping us. And we have done projects across. So this is the project of Jio World Center. Some of these snapshots you can see. And this is where we can work. So clash detection, easy for understanding, and everybody has the peace of mind and they know what is going to be there. I think the BIM has helped us to take care of this. We also have stimulation packages. We'll tell you the optimal energy requirement for a building with respect to the sun direction, and we can stimulate that building so that we have optimum energy on that building by just changing the location of the building with respect to the sun path. So we do sun path analysis. All those things are now coming in with a lot of technology inputs. Now I'll end with my presentation on Voltas. I think everyone knows Voltas is one-stop solution for anything related to HVAC and MEP. We are part of Tata's, and I think there's no introduction required of Tata's, but we are proud to be part of Tata's. And Voltas is the #1 player in the domestic air conditioning, and we are the preferred MEP contractors across the GCC and India. We have over 8,000 dedicated employees, and we have a strong brand with a trust from Tata's. Just some of the products, and there are many more which are manufactured in Voltas. And this is the one project which I just told you was inaugurated yesterday. This was the Jio World Center. I just see the complexity of the project. 1 crore square feet of the area, and it has got so many things. It got residential towers, office towers, clubhouse, a mall, an opera, musical fountain, banquet hall, exhibition center. 14,000 tons of refrigeration, close to 1,000 plus air handling units, 2,000 plus fans. We have done 40 kilometers of piping there, and 160 kilometers, 150 odd plus kilometer the firefighting piping. So this is the package. I think it's worth to look at, and this is where Voltas has demonstrated their capability. Thank you very much for your patient listening.
Thank you very much, Ajaz, Mr. Kazi. That was really the level of trust. I just heard someone say that was a great presentation from Mihir. I really think it was outstanding, and we saved the best for the grand finale. And I think we were justified in doing that. You've done extremely well in the way you've shared deep knowledge about the systems. Could we now move ahead and kind of take the next 2 questions with quiz time again? You know, it's part B. Students, my friends, you know the link is available on chat, and you know that it's kept open for 5 minutes. I hope you liked the questions in the first part, and here's one more coming your way. The ultraviolet energy, UVC, is, what are your options? What is UVC? It is a part of the EM, electromagnetic spectrum, at under 400 nanometer wavelength. B, it is a part of the EM spectrum at over 400 nanometer wavelength. C, it is used to inactivate pathogenic organisms. And D, it's used to trap and filter pathogenic organisms. So the answer, the correct one, is what we're looking for from you as we go on to the next question. And the next question is, the image which you see, which was shared in Mr. Kazi's presentation, what is this illustration? What is this all about? Your options are how outside air is filtered and cooled before being supplied to the inside, or is it how outside air quality is improved before being supplied to the inside, or is it how the air inside a building is circulated and treated before recirculation, or is it how warm air from the inside is cooled and recirculated? I won't say your guess is as good as mine. You need to be quite accurate in your answer. Mrs. Iyengar came and thanked the entire team, the community, all the pillars. Now it's my time to say, give our heartfelt thanks. And we also have them on screen, many of them who've been partnering with us, talking to us, notwithstanding the COVID situation. All your principals, and they're up on screen, and you recognize them. You can give them a good big shout, big hi, because they're the ones who are making your learning fun through the How to Festival. And of course, they have the awesome responsibility of making you into great professionals. And the list goes on, and they're all up on the screen, every one of those colleges that we saluted earlier in the show. And we thank the principals and the HODs and the number ones of those colleges for all that they have done for you and for the community. We also would like to thank our sponsors, without whom the show would not have been possible. So what do they have to share with you?
Guys, कल मेरी नई बाइक आ रही है.
Great. तब तो I will come with Rohan every day.
इंश्योरेंस है.
तुझे क्या लगता है? इंश्योरेंस, पीयूसी सब कुछ है.
I was talking about life insurance for Sia.
Jokes apart, guys, but आज मजा कल सजा नहीं होनी चाहिए.
Yeah.
Seriously, life insurance तो जरूरी है.
LIC का न्यू जीवन आनंद देता है डबल फायदा. मैच्योरिटी पे मिले फुल पेमेंट और लाइफ कवर चले जिंदगी भर.
ए हेलो, इंश्योरेंस है क्या?
I think it's time now to call Mr. Ajaz Kazi live onto the show and take a few questions, few of the many questions, but I think we will not waste a second more. Ajaz, thank you for joining us. Good to have you on the show. And if you could just switch on your camera, I'll tell you how this thing works. Hi there.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You knocked the ball out of the park, as they say proverbially. Students are super delighted with the content, and they really learned a lot. And you could tell from the comments, I think, if you were browsing the chat. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to deliver.
So the way this works is we have about 10 minutes, and we have 31 questions, so it's not possible to squeeze all that in. So generally the team quickly curates some really meaty ones, and your answers, I know they're technical, I know they're difficult, but this is where it's a challenge to you to also keep it to the point and tight, so you can take in as many as we can in the time available. We always promise the students that we will answer all their questions, because we'll hand it to you and we put it up on the archive. So nobody is unanswered, but a few gets answered, has the privilege of being answered to by you in person. So shall I shoot?
Yeah, no, yeah, go ahead.
Sahil says, can the cooling systems work on solar power?
Yes, there are experiments being done. Some of the cooling systems can work on solar, but for the major, kind of size, it is still to be discovered. But some smaller experiments have been done, and things are being driven to that direction.
Okay. Anamika Thota, who is one of our regulars, also says, when all these towers and chillers are placed in open or terraces, what can you suggest to a designer to deal with the aesthetics of buildings where some designers may not want the users to see them?
Yes, generally what is done is the louvers, the beautiful louvers are placed across this thing with an area to get the air from outside. So we have the louvers which would get the right amount of air which is required to reject the heat. So this is being done with the help of the mechanical engineers as well as the architects. What kind of louvers and how much area we'll get so that we can get gush of air to take the heat out.
Right. So aesthetics, of course, can be taken care of, but functionality is always also key. Very, very important. True that. So then let me just go to now another question. Mihir Pawar has a question. How much head space does the ducting take from the usable space, or should the buffer be left while designing the building itself?
So it depends upon what is the air capacity which we are delivering. So suppose if you have two cabins of maybe 150 square feet, will require around 300 CFM, that is the cubic feet per minute. So based on that, the duct sizing is designed. So duct sizing is depending upon what air it is carrying. So based on that, the duct sizing are defined. So it might vary from, applications to applications and size to size.
I think the same question bordering on that was asked by Ritesh Chowdhury. How much ceiling height is required for HVAC ducts, and do the air handling unit space, is it required per floor? So that's the additional question.
So air handling units are now designed for both floor mounted as well as the ceiling suspended. So you can take out the floor space and we can put it on the ceiling, and the so that you can use that floor space for your use, and we can take these air handling units. As regard to the ducting, I just
you just gave the answer. They're both overlapping questions.
Yeah.
By the way, Ajaz, thank you for being so crisp and to the point. I hope I'm not stressing you to
no
give too short an answer. We have Sahil again asking a question. Nowadays, terraces are used for recreational purposes. How can we use air cooler system in that case, or we shift to water cooled system?
So anyways, if you want to use for recreation system, then you have to use smaller space out of that for cooling towers, and then you can go for water cool system. Today, even the municipal corporations are not giving water for air conditioning. So you have to create that water out of STPs and other things. So it is better that we use water cool system for the efficiency, because air cooled efficiency is very, very low. Water cooled efficiency is better. Heat transfer between air to air is little difficult, but air to water is very easy, so that you can get a better efficiency. So you can create some space either for cooling towers, and then balance space you can use for recreational areas. And to avoid the aesthetic things, I said we can cover with
the lures. Yeah. Siddhi's question is: these units are on such a huge scale, the ones, especially the large projects that you talked about. While maintaining them, what are the challenges normally faced?
So generally, if you have huge units, then the major equipment inside a unit which can fail is the compressor. That's the major unit which can fail. Now we need to provide lifting arrangement to take that compressor easily. Otherwise, to lift by manually, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort. So that's one arrangement we have to put. Second arrangement is when the water goes into these, coils, because of the water quality, the coils might get damaged. So sometimes we need to clean the tubes so that the heat transfer happens properly. So we need to have a space, just equivalent to the length of that tube, so that we can push the new water, clean it, and get it done. So there's two important things which are required for maintenance purpose.
Awesome. And in any case, if I am correct, there's also redundancy built in. There will be backup system
Obviously,
in case, so there is no interruption continuous.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Rai Chakrabarti has a question. He says, do the UV bulbs need to be replaced to maintain proper functioning?
So these UV lamps have a life from 1,000 hours or 1 lakh hours. Depending upon that, you need to replace this. We cannot repair those. So it has a very good lifetime. So now I think you just have to replace those and put it new.
Perfect. Ritesh has a question. What is more effective? I think this is a sneaky question. There, all the students will only put one of those, and it's one here. What is more effective, a room naturally ventilated or a room with UVGI system?
If you're staying in Delhi, even the outside is very horrible, right? So if you naturally ventilate that air, it is going to be difficult. So that's why this UVS system has come in, because they know even if you take the outside air, it is as good as the polluted air which is going to come in. So conditions, with the respect to the conditions, now I think the UV is playing more role, because we also don't have the outside air as good as we want. So that's the answer.
So as I told you, it was a little Tera question, but you gave a very straight answer. Sherbano has a question, and she says, what are the advantages or disadvantages of air-cooled chillers over water chillers? I think you mentioned it in brief.
Yeah, the efficiency is lower in air-cooled chillers, so you need more power to run. And in water-cooled chillers, the efficiency is very high. So just to give an analogy, 1.1 kilowatt per ton will be the efficiency of air-cooled chillers. But you can water-cooled, you can go as low as 0.4 tons per kilowatt. So that's the.
Anamika has I'm going to squeeze in 3 more questions, because it's all been so well answered by you in a short period of time. Anamika says, sir, can you explain to us the best way to remove smoke at a fire accident in the high ceiling height buildings? which systems work for low height ceilings?
So generally what we do is we connect all these low height ceilings with smaller ducts and connect to one fan on top. So that takes care of that ducts carries that smoke when the fan starts. So you don't have to have, fan installing in every ceiling. So we can have a central fan which can take care, and we can also have a smoke monitoring system which will tell you which ceiling has got the fire, so that the fan also runs on that capacity. So we can create small ducts which can take you to that fan, and that fan will come in when it senses there is smoke kind of situation there.
Rai Chakrabarti has a question. Are the HVAC units which are being used for fire handling also wired separately to the fire alarm system of the building?
Fire alarm system is completely different, because fire alarm system is generally used to tell you if there is an issue. It creates the signal that there is an issue there. Now to act on the signal, the HVAC systems comes in, the fans comes in, the firefighting systems comes in. So fire alarm system is basically a signal kind of issue. Fire controlling or firefighting is what is being done through HVAC systems with respect to the fans, and firefighting system which carries the water, and it will come into action to drop the water wherever the fire comes in.
Great. Kirti has a question. What is the life of a central AC system, and how is it uninstalled when it is no longer usable? Is there a method for damaged units to be reused, or if not, how is it disposed? All interrelated.
Okay, so life of the central AC system is at least 20 to 25 years. The one when I joined, there's one building
still working.
No, it is in BKC, which has got replaced a year back. So 23
years.
23 years it took to replace. And what we generally do is we use those components in rebuilding the new units. So that's the recycling which we do. Some of the parts cannot be used, like electronics and other things, which get disposed of as per the policy of disposal, which is derived by the government of India or local governments, what it is.
Right. So I think that is really, as I mentioned, there are a lot more. I'll take one last question, just because Sherbano has asked this. Managing lights and RCP design along with HVAC can be challenging sometimes. Does Voltas help in solving these issues with respect to design?
Yeah, so earlier, there were people who used to do only electrical and firefighting, somebody used to do only HVAC, but Voltas has got now ability to do everything. MEP, that's what we call it. So mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. So we come together with all our specialists, work with you, and we solve all those interface issues together. So it's a one-stop solution for all your queries, and that's what Voltas has got the capabilities to do it. The Burj Khalifas and the Ferrari theme parks all are done like MEP projects.
Fantastic. And in the chat, I saw that these bunch of students, and they're all from the top-rated colleges, the top 24 colleges of the country, and they have no doubt that Voltas is the go-to brand, the company for these kind of project air conditioning. So excellent job done. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the knowledge sharing, and I look forward to having you more often on the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, students, with that, I think we had a really good moment to share with Mr. Kazi. We all must be extremely grateful for the kind of learning that he's brought. And he's not available. You can always look up the archive. We're going to put up his presentation, and we're going to put up all the answers to your various questions. So having said that, we now go beyond to announcing the winners of the day. And Asha, how are we doing this? Do I stop share and will you take over? Okay. So back to Asha. Yes, Asha. Let it roll. The winners of the day for today's quiz, I think we'll come with the top 10 first. Right on top are Rajshri Chakrabarti, Ritesh Chaudhary, Isha Vartak, Sartak Malik, Azan Ansari, Siddhi Sangai, Kirti Walson, Aniket Jha, Rai Chakrabarti, and Mihir Pawar. So these are the ones who got it all right and got it fastest. And yes, who were the fastest amongst the fastest? And you have Azan Ansari, Aniket Jha, Sartak Malik, and Ritesh Chaudhary. Our congratulations from everyone at Team Locator and all your other colleagues who are on the show. They too are congratulating you for having made it right up to the top. A final reminder, on the chat I was asked about iWish and everything. Please give a careful listen. We're wrapping up in 5 minutes. It's the grand finale, so you'll not get this reminder again. So let me tell you the 2 competitions which are running simultaneously. As you know, the Godrej GDL, the Godrej Design Lab Portfolio Competition and Student Fellowship has been announced in detail. You know what's in it for you. 3 winners will receive a fellowship, internship of 3 months with Godrej, and the link is on the chat and it's also available on the Facebook group. And you have also been sent emails. Please check your emails from Godrej, from Locator, and you would find the link to the entries. The last date is 26th March. And after that, the reminder is for iWish. A quick pointer on, since some of you said, what do we do for iWish? It's 150 words that you have to write. So, you know, less is more. You got to take, as you saw Mr. Kazi, he was so brilliant in the way he answered. You have to do something. You take your 3-4 pages of thinking and then distill it into powerful 150 words with an illustration. See the last line in my slide. It says, remember, it must be your innovation, not Control C, Control V. I've already seen some entries to come. Wonderful, terrific. You've gone online. You like, you know, I'm not going to name the student. It'll be unfair to you. You liked what we saw. Very good. Thank you very much for doing desk research and telling us this is an innovation. It's already been done. Don't even bother to share it with us. It has to be your thinking, your idea. You remember the examples I gave? Somebody thought of silent pipes, where they just took the PVC pipe and did fluting air damping so that the drop from skyscrapers, the sewage water or wastewater would not sound loud to the occupants of the building. How inventive is that? How innovative is that? And then you know what FEDES has done in terms of having a clear window with piezoelectric quartz sandwiched in it. So when you switch it on, the quartz makes it opaque, and you switch it off, it becomes clear again. These are brilliant. And by the way, if you come up with innovations, ideas like this, then you deserve the recognition. Next slide, please. And that was what you will be getting recognition, and 10 winners get recognized on all our digital assets, and they also get 2,500 rupees worth Amazon GDs. It's not a small amount. You can have quite a party with that. And for you, my friends, my team has agreed that we're giving you one last extended date of Saturday, the 22nd March. Okay, so Saturday, 22nd March, end of day, we close. Whichever entries come, they'll be taken up by the expert panel to judge the winners. And be quick and be smart. And don't send me Control C, Control V from the internet. Till we meet again, it's goodbye from all of us at Team Locator. It's been wonderful. You've been a great set of students to work with. And Mrs. Iyengar has already given you a task, what you need to do for your colleges. Go about doing it. Adios. Till we meet again. Sayonara. Bye-bye.